I think the thing that holds a lot of people back is feeling like abundance is this tangible outcome that once I achieve this result, then I'll feel abundance. We're surrounded by scarcity. A lot of people, they do not want to tap into abundance. They are happy with their limitation. And already that person is saying, oh, but I can't afford it. Like, okay, well, bye. It's the words we speak that determine our actions and our beliefs. Let's get into it. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Montelle and this is a channel where self-mastery meets work in progress. So, as you can see by the title, today I want to share some daily ways that you can start to feel more abundant every single day. And I've decided this month that I really want to be as authentic as I can with my channel, and I just want to share as I learn, basically. As you know, this channel is all about a self-mastery journey, so I never want to claim I'm fully there or I fully know everything. I am just literally sharing as I go, and as I'm leaning more into my faith, as I'm stepping into my faith, as I'm learning more about God, as I'm building a relationship with Christ, I'm honestly just learning so much, guys. Like, I'm learning at such a fast pace that it's become quite challenging for me to even catch up to what I'm learning. So when it comes to making YouTube videos and sharing my experiences and what I know, I feel like it's ever evolving and ever changing, and I'm just learning that I have to push through that rather than hiding and wait until I have all the answers. I have to just show up and share as I'm going through this myself. And on the topic of abundance, as you know, I've shared a few videos about abundance, and I'm making this a series. It's still going to be a series. It's just that as I'm learning, things are going to change. And I used to use terms like how to manifest abundance, how to attract abundance into your life. And personally, I have changed on that. My beliefs on abundance has now changed, as I know that we are abundant beings and we are innately abundant. We already are abundant people just by existing. We do not need to attract it. We do not need to manifest it. All we need to learn how to do is tap into the abundance that's already within us, that God has already given us. So yeah, in terms of manifesting abundance, I no longer believe you do that. I believe that we already have it within us, because you know that abundance exists in the world. You've seen evidence of abundance, whether it's somebody that you admire or somebody that you've seen who's just living in their full abundance. You've seen it, so therefore you know that it's possible. You know that it exists in the world. It's just that you don't yet believe it's possible for you. So there's a difference between there not being abundance and a difference between you not feeling abundance. And that's one thing that I want to make clear, that for me, abundance is a feeling. It's not a tangible thing that you can hold in your hand and say, okay, now I have abundance. And it is a feeling. And just like with any other human emotion, sadness, happiness, joy, fulfillment, excitement, all of these are feelings which at any given moment we can decide to tap into. We can decide to feel that emotion. We can decide to experience that emotion. So I think the thing that holds a lot of people back is feeling like abundance is this tangible outcome that once I achieve this result, then I'll feel abundance. Once I get this job, then I'll feel abundant. Once I get this promotion, then I'll feel abundant. When the truth is, there's no then. You don't have to do this but then abundance. Your abundance already exists within you. You just need to step into that version of yourself that feels abundant. And this video is going to give you some daily ways on how you can really do that and start to feel abundant in every situation. So the first thing is to start reframing your situation. In every given moment, you always want to reframe to look for the positives, reframe to look for the abundance. Since the beginnings of times, we have been trained into lack, into fear, into scarcity. From the caveman days when they was hunting around and they was fearing for their life, it was always from a place of fear, lack, limitation, there's never enough, fight or flight. So from a very young age, our programming has been set to lack. automatically. We are not set to abundance. I mean, when we're babies, we're probably abundant because we don't know any better. But once our programming kicks in, once we hit around 7 years old, that's where our limiting beliefs start. That's where our programming starts. That's where we learn our behaviors, our values, our character. All of it starts in those early childhood years. So if from that early in your life, you've been programmed into lack, you've been listening to conversations around you from the adults who you look up to, and all of those conversations seem to be about limitations and lack and why it's not enough, why you can't do this, why you need to be quiet. If that's all you're hearing and carrying into your adult life, of course, you're going to be set to lack and fear and scarcity. So what we have to now learn to do, now we have the awareness, we have to learn how to step into our abundance. I've just realized I actually want to film this on my phone as well. So bear with me a second because I'm going to set up my phone camera because this is fire. So I actually need to make sure I'm recording on both. Okay, I'm back. So as I was saying, it is almost impossible to avoid fear, lack, and scarcity in this day and age. You just step outside your house and you hear somebody complaining. You go into a shop and somebody's complaining. You go to work in an office and somebody has to talk about their limitations or complain. So we're surrounded by scarcity. And there's only a few of us in this world. You may feel like everybody wants to tap into abundance, but by you watching this video and how many other people are going to watch this video, we are a minority. Let me make that clear. We're the minority. A lot of people, they do not want to tap into abundance. They are happy with their limitations. It makes them feel safe, secure. They have formed communities around their limitations. They're happy to dwell in that place, but we're different. We want more for ourselves. We expect more for ourselves. And we know that abundance is our birthright. We know that. So now we have to reframe every situation and always seek abundance, because if we don't, we're going to get swallowed up by this world. It's so easy for us to do so. I think that's why sometimes I love just staying and hiding in my own space, in my room, because I know that I can really be the best version of myself. But when I'm around people who are constantly complaining or always have something negative to say, it can be easy to get swallowed back into that. Unless you protect your environment and you reframe every situation where possible and you become that light and that influence for other people. So you really just want to see yourself with a protective layer, almost like a bubble around yourself, and just know that within your bubble, you're in your full abundance. So it doesn't matter what may happen to you that day. In every situation, you want to see the positives. And I know in some situations it's hard and it doesn't seem like there's any positive, but wherever there's a negative, there always has to be a positive. The two cannot exist without each other. So if you're seeing your situation, for example, you may lose your job. If you're seeing that as a negative and you're able to draw out all the negatives of that situation, you're not going to have money, you're worried about your bills, you're worried about your rent, you're worried about your status because you've lost your job and what people are going to think. They're all of the limiting, lack-based thoughts that you have. So on the other side of those thoughts, they has to be positives. The two cannot exist without each other. So it's for you to now, instead of immediately going to that place and the negative place, you have to move to the positives. So in this situation, okay, maybe you was actually looking for a new opportunity and this gave you the push that you need. This gives you a bit of time to spend time with family. It gives you time to tap into creative ideas. It gives you time to get back into a routine. So always seek the positives. There will at least be one thing that you can be grateful for and feel abundant about in every situation. So it's really about reframing that. So then the next thing is all about choosing your language wisely. So words have so much power and you really want to be mindful about the words that you're speaking over yourself, your situation, and the people around you, because it's the words we speak that determine our actions and our beliefs. So if you're speaking negative statements over your current reality, it does not give you an opportunity to change. One of my pet peeves is when people say things like, I can't afford it. Like, that is honestly one of my pet peeves, because you're shutting down any possibility. If you're already gonna create a statement like, I cannot afford something, then you're not seeking the opportunities. You're not trying to learn how you could potentially afford it. You're just shutting it down. You're letting your excuse win. And then you're just going to get on with your normal life again. So I learned this from a very young age, that even when I didn't have the money, I mean, I was always doing all right for myself, I always had an income coming in, but I definitely wasn't the wealthiest person in the world, and I couldn't afford all the luxuries that I wanted. But I never said I can't afford it. I always said, okay, how can I afford it? Or I'd at least say, all right, it's not something in my budget right now, but I can look into it at a later time. I'd never just shut down the conversation by saying I can't afford it. One of my pet peeves is when I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, we both have this shared interest, or we both want to do something together, want to go to an event, and already that person is saying, oh, but I can't afford it. Like, okay, well, bye, because yes, I don't also have the money right now, but I'm willing to understand how I can make it work. I'm willing to get creative with the opportunities that are already available, because I know that I operate from abundance. So I know that anything that I desire or I want to have, I can make it happen. I just need to find the ways how, and it's not always going to be immediate, but if you open yourself up to opportunities, you're likely to receive opportunities. If you're already closing yourself down and you're not willing to explore those opportunities, then they're not going to come your way. And even if they did come your way, you're going to be too blind to see them because you're too wrapped up in your excuses. So you really want to be mindful with the words that you do speak over yourself. Things like, I can't afford it, I don't have time, I can't do this, it won't work for me, I'm unsure. Like, just get rid of all of those statements, because they do not open you up to abundance. They do not open you up to the right people who could maybe support you, the right opportunities that could come your way. They just shut you down from everything. So you always want to be speaking life into yourself, speaking positivity, and coming from a place of, okay, how? Instead of can't, make that how. Instead of I can't do this, how can I do this? I don't know this, how can I learn more about this? So really start to incorporate more of those open-ended questions into your daily routine. So then next, you want to surround yourself with things that make you feel more abundant. So as I said, abundance, it can be a feeling. You could decide in this second that I'm abundant, I have everything I need. The fact that you are breathing right now, the fact that you have unlimited sources of air, unlimited sources of water. For some places, I know, like, please don't try and come for me in the comments. I'm just being general here. We have food, water, air. We have the three main things that we need to exist. So how can you not feel abundant after that? Like, we already have all of the abundance I need. The fact that you've got a roof over your head, the fact that you're able to sit and watch this video just proves that you've got some sort of Wi-Fi connection right now. And I don't see Wi-Fi being limited. I mean, I know some data plans, depending on what data plan you have, it may be limited, but for the majority of people in this day and age, we have unlimited data, we have unlimited Wi-Fi, we can browse all day long till our eyes are sore. We have unlimited resources around us. So what you want to do is think about what are the daily ways that you are already living in abundance. And once you get into the routine of doing this, you realize, wow, I actually have a lot. I think when we spend our days scrolling online, seeing all of these glamorous, extravagant lifestyles, we tend to fall into that fear and scarce mindset, because we're seeing what other people have and we're aspiring for that, but not realizing what we have. And somebody right now who doesn't have what we had, they'd love to have just what we have. Like, I know how blessed I am, how fortunate I am right now to have been able to make a big move to a new city, to have this beautiful apartment. My bills are paid for the next year, and yes, this apartment is not like my dream aesthetic, but I know that I am so abundant right now, and people would look at what I have and would just love to even have half of this. So I cannot take that for granted, and I do not want you to take your current situation for granted. But saying that, there are still ways that you can start to feel more abundant around you. You can start to create more abundance around you, even if it's just things like changing up your living space or just changing up your room a bit so you can incorporate a few more luxury items around there, and that just makes you feel more abundant and just happier and uplifts your mood. The people that you are around, you want to make sure that you're around people who are also operating in abundance, not scarcity, not complaining, not always have something negative to say, not gossiping all the time, because this is all lack, and you're not going to be able to feel abundant if you're always surrounded around lack. That's why, like I said earlier, I spend a lot of time by myself. If I'm not with my boyfriend or my best friends, I spend a lot of time by myself because I want to protect my energy, and this is how you should feel as well. But some of the things that I do like to do just to feel more abundant is maybe just going for a walk. Like, go to your local park. You will see all the abundance around you just by the open space, the fresh air. Start people watching, start seeing people just happy in their element, and it will start to make you feel like, you know what, I have all I need right now. Anything else is just a bonus. And just maintain that energy throughout your whole day. And as I said earlier, have that protective bubble around you so nobody can feed into you their limitations, because a lot of the time people project, and this is what people do. Like, people just project their fears, their emotions, their beliefs onto you, and people latch onto energies as well. So if you're feeding back into their limitations, they're going to latch onto you, and they're going to see you as a safe space where they can come and feed in all of their issues and problems and tell you all of these things, and you don't want any of that. So you want to learn how to respectfully shut that down. And I think I need to make a full video on really how to protect your energy. It's something that I'm still working on, still learning, and God is really helping me through this. Like, he's really helping me learn how to better protect my own self and my energy. So that's a whole video in itself. But you want to just keep your guard up, surround yourself around abundant, happy, joyful people as much as possible. Listen to worship music. This is one thing that I added to my routine probably over almost a year ago now, and I almost exclusively listen to worship music now. I find a lot of other music difficult to listen to because just the words and the beats, like, it just doesn't feel peaceful to me. So I spend a lot of time listening to strictly gospel music now, or worship music, and it honestly just puts me in a state of peace, ease, flow, and abundance. I feel so abundant on a daily basis just listening to uplifting music, and then to top that off, spending time with uplifting people. It's just a win-win situation. So you always want to be putting yourself into those win-win situations. Okay, and the next one, what time are we on? Okay, I've started timing myself, by the way, just because I want to. Well, I haven't just started. This is something I've done as much as I can, is just timing myself, especially when filming, because I'm someone who I feel like filming can just take so long unnecessarily. So I stick to a time, and it really just helps. I give myself 30 minutes to film a video, and yeah, I've got like 5 minutes left, which is perfect timing. So the last point that I want to leave you on today is just learning how to receive in your day-to-day. And there are many ways that you can receive. It's not just receiving money. I know that's a typical way that people may think of, but there are so many smaller ways that you can learn to receive in your day-to-day, whether that is just receiving help, receiving gestures, receiving compliments, receiving feedback. You want to be open to receiving as much as you can. And I know that this can be difficult, especially for those of us who have spent many years in scarcity, many years in, what's the word I'm looking for? Survival mode. I know you know about survival mode. Many time in our independent woman era, and we don't need anyone, we don't need a man, we don't need help. I know that so many of us spent a lot of time in that mentality. But now it's time for us to open up. It's time for us to learn how to receive, because the more you can freely receive the smaller things in life, that will then start to transition into the bigger things in life. So if you're wanting to feel abundant, That is a big thing. That's the strong feeling. So if on a day-to-day you're unable to receive the smaller things, you're not going to be able to receive that abundance or feel that. So this is something you want to put into practice. And one of the key ways that I learned how to put this into practice was by simply receiving compliments. So I was somebody, and I know that you can relate, especially all my British girls or guys, whoever's watching. Us British people are too polite. Like, we're too polite. That's one thing. I wish I had the attitude of an American sometimes, because they're just direct, straight to the point. No, you know, softening things up, no beating around the bush. And I really admire that. But I obviously appreciate being British as well, and I'm proud of being British. But yeah, sometimes we are too polite. And when it comes to taking compliments, we do not want to hear it. We are so quick to reject that compliment. We're so quick to say why. No, oh no, like, oh, your hair looks nice today. Oh really? No, it doesn't. I haven't even washed it. Like, we're so quick to jump on the reason why it's not true. And what I actually learned is that it's so disrespectful to do that. For one, it's disrespectful to the other person. If somebody's gone out of their way and taken their time to compliment you on something and you've rejected that compliment, it's disrespectful, because then you're disrespecting their judgment. They think something is admirable about you and you're shutting them down. Then what you're trying to say, that they don't know well, that they can't judge well. So that's how it can come across. And it's also just you showing that you're unable to receive. And everything you do receive, you devalue. So if you can't receive small things such as a compliment, how can you then feel more abundant? Because you're always going to devalue that. It's just like, right, how I said earlier, that there's already so much abundance around you, but you're choosing to devalue that because you're looking at what other people have, you're looking at their circumstance, so you're devaluing what you currently have right now. So whenever somebody now gives me a compliment, I just say thank you. Like, thank you, I appreciate that. And that's it, full stop. That's it. Like, you do not have to then feel like you have to diminish the compliment or devalue whatever they've said. You do not have to then give them a compliment back. I mean, if you want to, that is great. And yeah, I'd advise always giving compliments back if you mean it. But there's nothing wrong with simply saying thank you in that moment. As humans, because we're always operating from this limitation and lack base, we feel like, okay, if someone's give, we then have to give, or we then have to take away. There always has to be this push and pull, when really there can be a nice harmony. Somebody else giving you a compliment actually makes them feel good as well. Like, you may not believe that, but it does. Otherwise they wouldn't have wasted their time. It makes them feel good to make you feel good. So you can receive that and accept that without feeling like there has to be a transaction. There has to be another, a takeaway or a give. Do you understand where I'm going with this? I think I need to work on clarifying that point a bit more. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So just think about the small ways that you can receive in your day-to-day. Receive help, receive compliments, receive income at times. I mean, I literally had this conversation with one of my friends, and she was telling me how one of her cousins wanted to pay for her petrol, and she was like, oh no, you don't have to pay, it's fine. And I was just like, girl, take that money, let him pay for your petrol. Like, why do we feel like we cannot receive? Why do we have to why do we feel like we have to stand our ground and say, no, we can do, like, no, learn to receive, because once you receive the smaller things, it will be easier to receive the bigger things in life, such as abundance. So yeah, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this blessed you. If it did, leave me a comment and let me know what your takeaways from this video was. If you're not yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. This channel is such a vibe. And yeah, if you're ready to start your self-mastery journey, make sure you do hit that subscribe button, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.